microphone as well. Hello. So I'm an education scholar. So I study and I research about different learning strategies. So they've actually heard the learning pyramid in the class in the morning. So I'm going to repeat what I've told them before. So there's a learning pyramid, and this pyramid is made based on a study, of various types of study. And so there's a passive mode of learning, an active mode of learning. And the most passive mode of learning, passive means you retain the least information that you learn out of this mode. So say, if you hear a lecture, like today, you retain, on average, 5% of what you've learned. Only 5%. This is average. Some people can, retain 10%, or some people can retain only 1%. It differs. But on average, it's 5%. And a little bit better is reading. So, I'll give you some materials to read or a textbook to read. So if you can read them, and you can basically retain 10%. And a little bit better is audio-visual. So if you can sort of combine, if you watch a documentary or any sort of TV program, on a climate change, say, then you retain 20%. Yeah, so being passive means you just hear, or you just listen, or you just watch. You don't actually do anything about it. But more active sort of mode of learning involves your own action. So say you demonstrate, you present about your proposal, or you present about what you've learned, then you get to retain 30%. And the next level is discussion. That's why I try to have a lot of discussion time. I can sort of tell you a lot about the strategies for effective negotiation, but unless you actually talk about them, or unless you demonstrate about them, you're not going to learn a lot. So that's why I'm going to spend the half of the whole course in discussion. So we're going to do the role play, and we're going to try to apply the strategies or the methods that we've learned from the first half of the class into discussion. And the better, you retain 75% of what you practice doing. So this means, say, I've actually taught some students, master students, and a lot of them are teachers or practitioners. So for the presentation, they actually made a curriculum of peace studies, and then they implemented it in their own school. So this is what it means by practice. You actually get to practice what you've learned from the class into the real life. And if you were to do that, then you retain 75%. What's the most effective mode of learning? It says, teach others. So actually, out of this class, out of this international negotiation class, who's going to be the person who learns the most? Me. And that's why I'm so excited. I'm going to learn the most about international negotiation by teaching you guys.
You have already learned it, man.
Sorry?
You have already learned it.
Oh no, this is my first time teaching international negotiation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. International ethics, I've taught it before, but negotiation, I've had a lot of experiences in negotiating in international setting, but that teaching is my first time. And if you were to teach, then you actually have to make it very structured, right? Out of only your experiences, more readings and more theories, and combining it all together. So it's gonna be the most beneficial for me, right? But I don't want me to be the most the beneficial person out of this classroom. I want you guys, right? If that were to happen, what do you have to do? You have to teach others. You have to teach one another. And that's how I did it, out of my own experience as well. So for my master's, I basically, to prepare for my exam, I partnered with my friend who was Indonesian. So we divided the contents to half. So half of the contents for me, and the other half for my Indonesian friend. And we actually taught each other about the contents. and we did really well in exams. So if you were to retain the most information, or if you want to learn the most out of this class, then think about the ways that you can teach the others, you know. And if you, tell me if you want to like get prepared, and if you want to make a presentation about anything, I'll give you an opportunity. Tell me. All right, so this is like the mode. It'd be very nice if you could sort of print it out and then like stick it on your desk, so that you can look at different modes, and then like you think about constantly, consistently, how you can change your learning method so that you can be a better learner. And according to education theory, there are 3 types of learners. So we're actually quite familiar with the 2 types: audio learners and visual learners. The audio learners, basically, you hear, you learn by hearing. So, you know, when you listen to my lectures, you hear about, you know, different cases and you learn about it. This is the most common. And visual is like you look at the readings, or you watch TV or like stuff like that, and that's how you learn. And kinesthetic, what do you mean by kinesthetic?
We are doing more like mechanical.
Exactly. Oh, are you an engineer?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's kinesthetic is like moving, engineering. Yeah, you basically do it with your own hands, like practice based. So if you were to, this type of learning is the most neglected one in Korea. So if you were to learn math, say I have a son who's 8 years old, and I don't teach him math. We do the quiz, we do the game, we do Monopoly. We spend like 2 or 3 hours every day doing the Monopoly, and he just learns numbers by doing the game. And this is how the kinesthetic learners are doing, you know. So think about the different types of learning, or the different, you know, like strategies that you can learn, and, you know, like self-evaluate, you know, what kind of learners you are, and like devise creative ways to learn better. Okay?